but I think I need more reason before I can say that with the certainty that you'd like to have me say it.
Mr. Chair, down here, Tom Tillis. You're right. The other Tom, we look a lot alike.
I'd like to speak first, and then
Okay.
I'll call on anybody that wants to speak. I find it interesting that my Democratic colleagues continue to bring up the emolument clause regarding Trump. They did so in his first term and have done so again with respect to the airplane. Yet my Democratic colleagues never cared about my emolument clause oversight during the March 2016. At that time, I wrote the Obama Justice Department. That letter was based on Secretary Clinton's 2009 to 2013 financial disclosures when she was Secretary of State. Those disclosures showed her husband participated in at least 62 events in foreign states. Some of those were speaking events in connection with foreign governments, and some speaking events were financially supported by foreign governments. For example, on at least 2 occasions, Bill Clinton received hundreds of thousands of dollars for appearances sponsored by Middle Eastern governments. Bill Clinton also received $200,000 for a speech connected to the Chinese government. In another example, Bill Clinton received almost $200,000 for a speech sponsored by a foreign city. In at least one example, Bill Clinton received $500,000 for a speech in Moscow. That speech was funded by the Russian Investment Bank, whose senior members included former Russian intelligence personnel. I wrote about that example in 2017. Hillary and Bill Clinton were married, and she was Secretary of State when all that money was made. Thus, it was a joint income. As my investigation work has shown, Hillary Clinton directly received money from foreign governments while Secretary of State. Moreover, Bill Clinton's speaking fees appear to have increased from $150,000 to sometimes $500,000 or even $750,000 when Hillary became Secretary of State. I don't recall hearing my colleagues on the other side of the aisle showing any interest in these apparent violations of emoluments. When Democrats filed suit against President Trump in his first term, they argued before the courts that the foreign emolument clause, quote, regulates the private conduct of federal officials, end of quote. They claim he was violating the clause through his private businesses, and so Congress couldn't use the, quote, power of the purse, unquote, to correct things. Well, that's not the case. Now they're arguing that Trump's violating the emolument clause for what clearly isn't for his private use, but is instead a gift to the United States. In any event, when an emolument clause violation occurs, a remedy is to disgorge the emolument to the federal government. Here's an example with Trump, and unlike Clinton, the federal government would be a recipient of the airplane, and the plane reportedly won't be used by Trump outside of government, and rather it may be parked in a presidential library, which is ultimately operated by national